started drawing about 3 years ago. I kind of picked up a pen and started drawing after 20 years or more of a break. I used to draw when I was a kid, in high school. My first drawing was Wes Kremer, who I've known since he was a little kid. He's 11 years old and he wrote for the shop that I work for. And I was kind of figuring out the technique, the ballpoint, the stipple, and then I wondered if I could do a portrait. So I went to Lance. Lance Mountain was my favorite skateboarder when I was a kid. And then I kind of just kept going with the portraits for a while of skateboarders. Ray Barbie, Mark Gonzalez, Matt Hensley, and started doing some musicians. Tom Waits and Prince and David Bowie and the guys that really inspired me. So everybody I draw is I try to have some kind of connection to. I don't think I've ever done anything really that it's not somehow, personally connected to me. Yeah, on a good week, if I'm really into a piece, or if there's a deadline, I'll draw 2 or 3 hours a day for the Dylan Reader cover. I had 3 weeks to do that. That one came down to the night before it was going to print. I pretty much stayed up most of the night trying to get that one done. I took it in the next morning, scanned it, Keegan mocked it up, and it was off to print that day. So. I spend a lot of time drawing, and I also spend a lot of time making frames. So if I'm not in the office or in the studio doing the drawing, I'll be out in the garage making the frames. When I had my first opportunity to do an art show, I wanted to display those portraits and kind of figure out a special way to frame them and display them. And I had the idea to try to make a frame out of their skateboards. That part of it's kind of taken off. Like, people have really liked the frames and the drawings and the prints and how they all look together. So I've actually made like 30 of those now for people. I borrowed a friend's bandsaw for those first ones, and then when I realized that this could be something I could keep working on and keep doing, I went to Home Depot and bought my own bandsaw. So I got a Ryobi bandsaw and also a Ryobi table saw. So finding the right pen definitely took some trial and error. Like, traditional stippling is done with like a flow pen, but my stippling, where it's like real detailed and you got to get in real tight, and basically there's a lot more pixels. I couldn't have the ink flow so freely, so I was kind of working with different ballpoints, different Bics, and the one that's best is really just a box of 20 pens for $3, just a basic Bureau ballpoint pen. Instagram has been such a catalyst because you see so many people doing so much rad stuff. BB Bastidas, Jay Riggio, CJ Hendry. You get inspiration from your family, from the people that are closest to you. I mean, I'd say, my son, when he was dealing with cancer and getting treatment, and just how he powered through, and my wife, and she's been crafting forever. She's actually a super good artist. She can draw as well as I can. Lately, she's been doing these macrames that are just like, super detailed and really cool, and she kind of picked that up overnight. Like, she just started doing it one day. She's got an Etsy store and an Instagram. So, and then I have my daughters who are 7 and 9, and they're sort of on the other side. They'll draw something completely abstract, no basis in reality, obviously at that age, but they're just having so much fun with it. They love to draw. I spent a lot of years thinking that I was too busy to do anything on the side. I mean, you got a wife and you got 3 kids and you got a full-time job, and at the end of the night you kind of just want to sit back and watch Netflix or whatever. And I made excuses for a long time, and when I started drawing, it was just kind of working with my friends at Transworld. Everybody was so creative. photographers, graphic designers, videographers, the feeling that you get and the gratification of finishing a project that you started with your own hands and kind of came from your own mind. And that's what it's really sort of about, is just the feeling of satisfaction when you create something and finish a project and people like it. That's the greatest feeling ever. So there's been people that have influenced that. Gary Vee, if you follow him on Instagram, just his attitude of no fucks given or no excuses. You can make excuses or you can make it happen. I mean, that kind of resonated with me, where it's like, okay, I was telling myself I didn't have time and I was too busy and there's just no time for myself. Fuck that, you can make time. Everybody's got the same amount of time. I was seeing people all around me doing it, and that excuse just wasn't gonna fly anymore.